City of Arizona versus Adam, is that Officer Portman, would you both come forward? Mr. Sit at the back table. Good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
This is case number. This is the time set for hearing in this matter. The record reflects the presence of the defendant and the state's witness. Sir, did you have a chance to read the instructions about hearings?
Yes.
Any question about the process?
Yeah, I'm not really a lawyer. I don't really understand the nature and cause of the proceedings against me. But I've got a couple questions before.
Well, go ahead. I'm asking you, first of all, if you have any questions about the process that's described in the paper.
Yeah, the nature and cause.
What's the question?
Well, I've got a couple. Again, I'm not really a lawyer. First of all, am I entitled to a fair trial?
I would assume so.
Is that a responsive answer? Am I entitled to a fair trial?
Yeah, I would assume so, yes.
Responsive answer is yes or no.
Sir, go ahead with the next question.
So, am I entitled to a fair trial?
Go ahead with the next question.
Am I entitled to a meaningful trial?
I'm not going to answer a series of questions, sir. If at the end of the trial you don't believe you've had a fair trial, you're going to be given a notice of right to appeal if the judgment is against you. You have another question you want to pose?
What rules govern the proceedings of
The
this
rules
court?
of civil traffic procedure.
Okay. And do you have to comply with all these rules?
I do.
Okay. Are there any rules you can ignore?
If I ignore any rules that you believe have an impact on your case when the case is finished, you'll have a right of appeal, and you can raise that at that time.
So, are there rules you can ignore?
I'm not going to answer the question beyond what I've answered.
Okay. So, do the constitutions, U.S. and Arizona, govern these proceedings?
The rules of the rules of the civil traffic procedure and voting cases govern these proceedings, and I've already told you that.
So, the Constitution of the U.S. and the Constitution of Arizona do not govern these proceedings?
They don't govern, no. Except to the extent that you're entitled to a fair trial. Absolutely.
So, you're telling me that you do not have to comply with the
No,
constitutions?
I didn't tell you that, sir. Move on to your next question, please.
So which part of the Constitution do you not have to comply with?
I didn't say I didn't. Tell me what your next question is. So I'm not going to answer a series of these questions for you. I want to know whether you have any question that relates to how we're going to conduct the proceedings, or the officer is going to testify about the reasons for writing the ticket. You're going to have an opportunity to ask him questions on cross-examination. You're going to have an opportunity to tell me your side of the story. The officer is going to have an opportunity to provide rebuttal. You're going to have an opportunity to ask him questions on rebuttal, and then you have the last word. That's the proceeding today.
Is it fair for you to proceed when I do not know or understand what is going on?
I'm not convinced that you don't.
I'm asking you a series of questions towards the nature
Are
of the
you ready to
proceedings.
proceed with the hearing, sir?
No, I'm not. I still have questions
All
regarding
right.
the nature of the proceedings.
I'm going to swear in the state's witness. He's going to provide me with his testimony. If you want to proceed with the hearing, the way it is prescribed in the rules of
I
civil
want to
traffic.
object. I, again, have not been told the nature of proceedings of this trial.
The nature of the proceeding is that you're charged with a violation of Tempe City Code Section 19-142 that alleges, be quiet please, that alleges overtime meter parking. What do you not understand about the charge?
It's non-responsive. I know the name of the charges. It doesn't tell me about the nature or cause of the charges.
That's up to you to look into before the hearing, sir.
So are you telling me if I do not know the nature and cause of the charges against me?
I don't believe that. I think you're just playing a game. I don't believe that you don't know the nature of the charges.
So can you tell me the nature of the charges?
Not beyond what I've already told you, no.
Do you consider asking questions in contempt of court?
I'm not going to get into a philosophical discussion over what might or might not be contempt of court. I'll deal with that on a case-to-case basis. What else do you have to ask before I start?
Is everything on this ticket true and correct?
I haven't heard testimony yet.
Okay. So do the canons of judicial ethics apply to you before these proceedings?
Absolutely.
So would a fair and meaningful trial require responsive answers to the questions I ask?
I don't even understand your question.
Would a meaningful and fair trial require responsive answers to the question I
I
ask?
do not understand your question. Go on to the next one.
If I ask questions because I do not understand what is going on, can I expect a responsive answer?
Depends on whether it's relevant or not.
So a responsive answer is yes or no.
No, it depends on whether it's relevant.
Am I entitled to responsive answers to my questions?
It depends on whether they're relevant. That is the legal standard that we apply in civil traffic cases. There is relevancy, not the rules of evidence in civil cases.
This ticket is not consistent with the Constitution. Would you be required to dismiss it?
If that's the conclusion I come to at the end of the hearing, yeah, but I...
Is it possible that this ticket is inconsistent with the Constitution?
I have no idea. You can make your arguments all you want. If I'm wrong in my ruling, you can appeal it.
Who is the burden of proof in these proceedings?
Sir, I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'm going to ask you to be quiet. I'm going to ask the state's witness to please stand and raise your right hand.
Motion to object. I do
You
not
swear?
understand the proceedings.
Look, let me tell you something, sir. You're either going to participate in this hearing as I direct, and then challenge my rulings on appeal if you have them, or I'm going to excuse you from the courtroom, and if you don't leave voluntarily, I'll call in court security to remove you from the courtroom, and I'll still listen to the state's witness, and I will assume, for the record, that you have waived your right to participate. It's as clear as that.
A motion to object on record.
Wait a minute, we're making a record. Do you swear or affirm the testimony I give this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. Officer, please provide this court with your testimony concerning the facts, circumstances, and events occurring on September 7th of this year that resulted in the issuance of this notice of parking violation, and begin your testimony with your full name, spell your last name for the record, and indicate for whom you were working at the time. You may proceed.
And my name is Donald Fortin, F-O-R-T-I-N. I'm employed by Downtown Tempe Community, who has a conditional contract with the City of Tempe to enforce parking in the downtown area. On 9/7/2012, at approximately 7:25 p.m., I was enforcing the area of 600 South Mill. At this time, I observed a black Volvo station wagon bearing license plate Arizona AXG 0854. This vehicle was parked in a space that was clearly identified by a meter, as well as white painted lines on the ground to represent a parking place. The vehicle was parked in a metered space which had expired. At this time, I issued a parking citation for 19-142, parking at a meter displaying red signal. This occurred within the City of Tempe limits, Your Honor, and within the jurisdiction of this court.
All right, officer, anything further?
No, sir.
All right, sir, at this point in time, if you have questions for the officer, you may ask him.
Yes, I do. So is this a civil action?
Sir, I'm not going to let the officer be asked legal questions that he is not trained in or needing to testify to here today.
So does this ticket present a valid cause of action?
That same ruling, sir, that's not relevant. That's for the court to decide, not the witness.
Is this civil action in the nature of contract dispute or tort?
That's another legal conclusion that you're asking the witness to form. It's not relevant to the charge of whether or not you are the owner or parker of a vehicle that was in violation of the parking regulations as alleged by the state's witness.
Make a motion to dismiss witnesses incompetent to testify.
Motion to dismiss is denied. Go ahead with your questions that may be relevant, sir.
Does this ticket complaint present every element of a valid cause of action?
Again, that...
Motion to dismiss witnesses incompetent.
Stop. When I speak, stop. Is that clear?
Yes.
Your motion to dismiss is denied. Go on with your next question.
On what grounds is it denied?
It's denied because it doesn't present a legal challenge that is legitimate that would result in a dismissal. Go ahead with your next question.
Is this ticket consistent with the Arizona Constitution?
That's, again, same statement, sir. You are asking the witness to provide you with a legal opinion that he's not qualified to present. It's not relevant to the charge. Your next question.
Is there a victim?
Let me stop you right now, sir. I'm either going to tell you that you're waiving your right to participate in this hearing, or I'm going to let you ask relevant questions about the charge. I'm not going to let you get into philosophical or theoretical questions that don't relate to the charge, that are not relevant, and I'm not going to permit you to ask questions of this witness or any other witness who would happen to be in this courtroom that is beyond their capacity to testify to, because you're asking them to form legal conclusions, and that's the province of the court, not the witness. If you want to ask him questions about the case itself, the things he's testified to, the charge that there is against you, you're welcome to do that. But I'm not going to let you go through a series. You have 3 pages of typewritten, single-spaced, printed on front and back questions that you just insist on going through that don't relate to the charge. Relevancy is a limitation on how far you can go in a hearing such as this. Now, I'm going to let you collect your thoughts, and I'm going to let you ask relevant questions, and if you don't, I'm going to stop you, and then I'm going to, at a certain point in time, I'm going to prohibit you from further cross-examination.
Do I violate your rights?
That's, again, you're not charged with violating anybody's rights, sir. That's not relevant.
So your opinion that the city of Tempe has jurisdiction over me?
That's, again, sir, the issue of jurisdiction is for this court to determine based on his testimony that this violation occurred within the city of Tempe. I've heard that
Objection. The
testimony.
witness said that the city does have objection or jurisdiction over me.
Who said that?
He did.
I didn't hear that testimony. He said this occurred within the city of Tempe and the jurisdiction of this court. That's what I heard. If you have a question about whether he said that or said something else, ask him that question.
So is it your opinion that this court has jurisdiction over me?
If you can answer it, go ahead, if you know the answer.
It does in this matter.
Non-responsive, yes or no?
No, sir, he answered the question. Ask your next one.
So is that based on facts currently within your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, so what are those facts?
Facts are, on that date and time, you were parked in a spot that had run out of time. And it's just as simple as that.
And who provided those facts to you?
I was looking at the meter myself. I looked at it.
Would there be jurisdiction if I'm not within the state or within the city of Tempe?
Say that again, sir, I didn't understand your question. Read it again.
Would there be jurisdiction if I was not within the city of Tempe?
You're asking a hypothetical question about facts that are not in evidence. What is your statement question?
If I was not within the city of Tempe, would there be jurisdiction over me?
Well, if you were in Phoenix, I wouldn't have wrote a ticket.
Okay.
You
Is
were in
that
Tempe.
an arbitrary opinion?
You were in Tempe. That's simple.
So you have personal knowledge that I was within Tempe?
I don't know the vehicle was. I have knowledge of that.
Okay, so factually, what is the city of Tempe?
Well, I don't understand your question, sir. Rephrase it.
The witness is stating that I was in the city of Tempe.
No, he said the vehicle was in the city of Tempe. He didn't say you were in the city of Tempe.
Okay, so he's stating that the vehicle was in the city of Tempe. So I'm asking, and he says he has facts that he knows what the city of Tempe is. So I'm asking, what are those facts? What is the city of Tempe?
He said in his testimony that this meter and this location is within the city of Tempe. If you have evidence that the boundaries of Tempe do not include the point on the roadway where this meter exists, you can share those facts with the court because that would be very relevant. He said what he believes to be true.
Okay, so the witness does not have facts to show what the city of Tempe is?
What do you mean by the city of Tempe is a city? It's a municipal corporation of the state of Arizona. It's a subdivision of the state of Arizona. I don't understand your question, sir, that in the respect that it might relate to this case. What is your question?
I'm trying to figure out where exactly the jurisdiction is. Is it geographical? Is it theoretical?
It's not theoretical, it's geographical, yes.
So if this statute didn't exist, would there be a violation?
But that's a hypothetical question, so I'm not going to allow the witness to answer it because the ordinance does exist.
So except for the statute, there is no violation?
Same ruling, sir, that's not relevant. If you have evidence to prove to me that this ordinance does not exist, I will look at it. In the hypothetical, I'm not going to let this witness get into the hypothetical because it's not relevant to the charge. If it was a repealed ordinance, I'd be glad to know about it.
Is this statute applicable to me?
Where you were at that time, it does apply to you, or anybody else that might be there.
Is that an arbitrary opinion?
My opinion.
Is that based on facts currently within your knowledge?
Yep.
Are those facts listed on this ticket?
I think it says pretty much what the ticket's for.
Are those facts listed on this ticket, yes or no?
Then that's the answer, but move on to the next question.
So I'm confused. Are the facts listed on this ticket?
That's an answer. He said that as far as he knows that the information is on the ticket. Go on. If there's something on the ticket, pull it out, bring it up, and ask him about it.
Further questions?
Officer, does the state have other witnesses present?
No, sir.
The record reflects that the state rests, and now we move to the defendant's case. Sir, go ahead with your side of the story.
I'd have to say, I completed fifth and not say anything. So,
The Fifth Amendment doesn't apply to civil cases, sir, so you have the right to speak or not speak. I can't tell you that
this is my final
Wait
chance
a
to
minute,
speak.
stop. I'm still talking, remember the rule? This may be your final chance to speak if there's no rebuttal by the state. And the Fifth Amendment does not apply in civil cases unless what you have to say may incriminate you with regard to possible criminal prosecution. So far, I haven't heard anything in here that may imply criminal prosecution. So, you have the option of either telling me your side of the story or not. Would you like to?
Yes, still, I'll let the record show that I've not been informed of the nature and causes of proceedings against me. It's not been shown whether this is contract or tort in the civil proceedings. There's not been a valid cause of action presented or allowed to be discussed, nor any elements of this valid cause of action. This has been stated by the judge to not obey the Constitution of the United States or Arizona. He's stated that no one has been charged with violating anyone's legal rights. And the state of Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, explicitly states all political power is inherent in the people, and the governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, and are established to protect and maintain individual rights. There's no violation of any individual rights. How is there any jurisdiction or how does the code apply to me? There's no valid cause of action. Elements have not been proven of that cause of action. And that is all I have.
All right, sir, you have no other witnesses present, correct?
Correct.
All right, the record reflects the defense rests rebuttal by the state officer.
No, sir.
The evidentiary hearing is concluded. The defendant is charged with violation of Tempe City Code Section 19-142. That says no person shall permit a vehicle to remain in a space with a designated parking meter or in a space with designated parking area which contains a pay by and displayed station when the meter display or station displays a red signal and printed message that it is unlawful to do so. In this case, the state has established that there was a parking meter. The meter was located in the city of Tempe, that it was displayed that it had expired. In other words, that any money that had been placed in it was extinguished and used up. And so the state's witness has proven by a preponderance of the evidence that this violation occurred. Defendant is found responsible for the violation, and a standard fine of $42 is imposed. The defendant is hereby given notice of his right to appeal this decision, and certain fines are due and payable the day they're imposed. Will you be paying this today?
Can you guys bill me?
I'm sorry?
Are you able to bill me?
No.
Okay.
If you pay later than today, the law requires the addition of a $20 time payment fee.
Okay.
If you pay by 5 o'clock today, that the $20 does not apply. Your fine is $42. If it goes into default, it gets reported to credit rating agencies because that is the standard practice of the court. Do you want to go to the cashier today?
Sure.
Okay, come on up, pick up your notice of right to appeal. Have a seat out in the front lobby. Cashier's going to be calling you up to the window. As soon as you pay, the case will be concluded. Officer may be excused.
Why me?
That's fine. Okay. Yes, sir.
How do I get a copy of the audio for this?
You pay for it at the front counter.
Okay, and the transcription?
You pay for that. They'll explain that to you at the front counter, sir.